everyone, my name is Katya and today I'm going to show you how to crochet this pouch. We start working from the base, work our way up, then we'll add a flap and some chains for a strap, and you'll have yourself this cute pouch. You can use it for anything you want, and it is size adjustable. For this project, you're going to need number 4 medium weight yarn with a 4.5mm crochet hook. I'm going to be using this case just to demonstrate, but what you're going to do is you're going to start with your slip knot, and you're going to make your foundation chain long enough to cover the base of your phone or whatever it is you're making this for. For me, I'm going to chain 15. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. My case is measuring about 3 inches, and then there's also the sides right over here. So I made my foundation chain just a little bit longer, so it has a couple of chains extra, and that's what you want to do. So just add a couple of chains once you have your foundation chain. For round 1, we're going to start by working 1 single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So here's, don't count this one, here's 1, 2, into this chain right here, work 1 single crochet. And you're going to work 1 single crochet all along this chain, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and here I have my last chain. Into this last chain, I'm going to work 3 single crochets, and that's what you want to do. Into your last chain, work 3 single crochets. So here's 1, go back into that chain, work your second, and go back into that chain and work on your 3rd single crochet. Now what we need to do is work on the opposite side of the chain. So we're going to turn it, and into this chain right over here, into each one, we're going to work single crochets. And I'm going to be working my tail in, so I'm holding on to it as I work on my single crochets. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that's enough. I'm going to cut this later. 10, 11, 12, and 13. So here we worked a total of 13 single crochets along the side, and into the first single crochet, or the first chain where we worked our first single crochet, what we need to do is we need to add 2 more single crochets. So I'm picking up that loop, and I'm going to continue and work 2 more single crochets. So total with this one, we have 3 single crochets on this side and 3 single crochets worked into the last stitch, which is right, last chain, which is right over here. For round 2 and the rest of the rounds, we're just going to be working in the round. You can add a stitch marker right over here to help you. And we're just going to work 1 single crochet all around using the single crochets of round 1. And here I'm just going to continue and work on single crochets for round 2, and I'll meet back with you to show you what to do next. I do want to mention, once you're in this corner right here where we worked our 3 single crochets, don't add any more single crochets. Just work 1 single crochet on top of those single crochets of the previous round. So here I'm coming to the end of this round, and this is how it looks like. Now you do want to check and make sure it's fitting, and mine looks like it is, and I'm just going to continue and work on my rounds all the way until I get here, and I'll let you know how many rounds I worked on total once I'm finished with this. So just continue and work on your single crochets all around until it is long enough to cover whatever it is you're making this for. Here I finished crocheting the pouch, and I did a total of 30 rounds of single crochets. Now let me show you. When I put in the case, it completely covers it. Next, let's go ahead and work on the flap. When you work on your rounds, your first single crochet will shift on you. So what we need to do is work single crochets all along here to come to this end right here. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to continue and work my single crochets until I come to the side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I'm actually going to go ahead and work one more single crochet. So I made a total of 8 single crochets. Now you choose how many you want. It all depends how wide your flap is going to be. Because I worked 30 single crochets all around, I'm going to make mine using 15 single crochets. So now what I need to do is chain 1, turn the work, and work 15 single crochets. So I'm going to work on my 15 single crochets. So here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Here we worked 15 single crochets. Now yours might change. It all depends on how your foundation chain was in the beginning. But as long as it's covering half of it, that's what you're looking for here. Next, let's go ahead and work on row 2. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and work 1 single crochet into each of these 15 stitches. So here's my first single crochet, and I'm just going to continue and work single crochets until I come right over here, and I'll meet you here. Here I have 1 single crochet left. I'm just going to go ahead and work a single crochet on top of that single crochet of the previous row. For row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now what we need to do first is work a decrease. So we're going to work 2 single crochets together, and to do that, insert your hook into the first single crochet, bring up a loop, go into the next stitch, insert your hook into that stitch, bring up a loop. So we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Here you just worked 1 decrease. Into the rest of the stitches, we're going to work 1 single crochet, but leave this 2 unworked because we're going to be working a decrease using these 2 stitches. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's work a decrease. We're going to insert our hook into 1 single crochet, bring up a loop, leave it, go into the following stitch, which would be the last single crochet, and bring up a loop. Here we have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. For row 4, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And all we're going to do is just work 1 single crochet into each stitch across. And I'll meet you at the end to show you what to do next. At the end of row 4, I have 13 single crochets. Let's go ahead and chain 1 and turn our work. We need to work a decrease using the first 2 stitches. Insert your hook into the first stitch, bring up a loop, insert your hook into the next stitch, bring up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Let's go ahead and work single crochets until we come to the end, leaving 2 stitches unworked. So here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now into the last 2 stitches, let's work a decrease. Same exact way, using those 2 stitches. Now we have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. For the next row, we're just going to chain 1, turn our work, and work 1 single crochet all across. So continue working and I'll meet you at the end of this row. I'm trying it on and I'm trying to see how I like it. And I know I want my flap to be longer, so I'm just going to continue this pattern. And the pattern is, for 1 row, you're going to work your 2 decreases on each side. So you're going to work decrease here and a decrease here, and in between those 2 decreases you're going to work single crochets. And then for the following row, you're just going to work 1 single crochet across. I'm going to continue this pattern and I'll come back to you when I have 5 single crochets left. Here I have 5 single crochets left, and I just worked a row of just single crochets. And let's continue together. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and now work a decrease using the first 2 stitches. And into the next stitch, just work 1 single crochet. And then we have 2 stitches left. Let's work another decrease. Here we have 3 stitches left. For the last row, we're just going to chain 1 and work 1 decrease into the first 2 stitches. And into the last stitch, just work 1 single crochet. So at the end, we have 2 single crochets. So here's 1 and here's 2. Let's continue. Now what we need to do is work single crochets all along the side right here. So let's go ahead and chain 1 and work 1 single crochet into any of the spaces that you can find. So here I'm just looking for stitches, and in between them I'm just adding my single crochets. The important thing here is you don't want to make it too loose. You just want to kind of keep it tight so it lays flat. And that's all you want to do here. It's just add your single crochets until you come to the side. And here I'm just going to work 1 more single crochet. And this is how it looks like on this side. Now, next, all we're going to do is, so here we worked our first single crochet right over here for the flap. We're going to skip that stitch, but into the next stitch, go ahead and slip stitch into that stitch. And now we're just going to chain, and this chain is going to be our strap. Now you decide how long you want your strap to be. So I'm just going to continue and chain, and I'll let you know how many chains I did. I worked a total of 100 chains. Now I'm going to stop here, but you can make it longer or shorter, it's up to you. Now next thing what we need to do is, without twisting it, so make sure your chain is not twisted. That's what I'm checking. You're going to come to this side right here. I'm going to skip that stitch, but going to the next one and slip stitch using that stitch and attaching the chain. Like so. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to continue. Now that the chain is attached, we need to continue and make single crochets all along the side. Same thing as here, we're just going to crochet single crochets all along the side. Here I finished working on the single crochets all along the side, and I'm back where we started with the 2 single crochets right here of the flap. Next, what you need to do is you need to decide, do you want to add a loop for a button, if you're going to use a button, or maybe some sort of an old charm that you have. I'm actually going to be making loops for this heart from an old bracelet, and that's what I want to use. And to do that, all you're going to do is just make your chain. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to measure and see if the heart is going to go through, because that's what you're looking for. You want it to be able to latch on. And it looks like it's large enough for the heart to go through. And so I'm going to stop there. But if you're going to be using a button or anything else, it's the same thing. You just want to make sure whatever it is you're going to be using, it's able to go through. So I'm going to do 5 chains. And once you have your chains, you're going to come skipping this 1, 2 stitches. And right over here where we started working on the single crochets on the side, you're just going to slip stitch using that space. Now let's go ahead and chain 1 and cut our yarn. Next, what we need to do is work on this yarn tail, and I'll show you how to do that. Using our tapestry needle, we're just going to work on the inside of the flap and bring your needle using any of the single crochets all along the side. Now what I'm going to do is use these single crochets using back loops only. I'm going to pick up about 3 to 4 loops, insert my needle using those loops, and then bring it out. And then I'm going to come back right where we started, dropping 1 loop, and I can pick up even more if I want to. Insert the needle and pull through. And then one more time, just going to repeat and go the opposite direction. And you are done. You can cut this yarn tail. Last thing we need to do is just sew on whatever it is we're going to be using right over here to loop it around. I'm just going to go ahead and use this single crochet, this row of single crochets. And you can put a stitch marker there, or if you have a pin, you can use a pin. Just going to add a pin. So here that I have it pinned, I'm just going to go ahead and use that single crochet and add my stitches there. So here I inserted my needle and I have a little tail. So I'm going to hold on to that tail. And using this loop, I'm just going to sew it. Like so. Now if your loop is small, you can use thread. And I'm just going to continue. Come back, insert my needle into that loop. Might be a little bit tight. Just try your best. And come back in. On the inside, we're using these yarn tails. We're just going to make a knot. And I like to do it 3 times. Here's 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to actually add a little bit of glue when I cut this, just so they don't come apart, but you can weave in your yarn tails as well if you want to. And our pouch is all finished. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.